I know there's a lot of people out there that love to be haters. Now, myself personally, I don't like being a hater. I hate being a hater. I'd love to be a lover, not a hater. Because I hate being negative, even though negativity is what gets clicks these days. It's what goes viral. And I want to talk about something today that, unfortunately, I'm going to have to hate on a little bit. And it sounds kind of silly. This doesn't even pertain to anything I cover on the channel. But I just had to talk about it because they've been putting it all over social media all day today, and they've been hyping it up for the last couple of weeks. And unfortunately, it was like one of those things, like a doctor's appointment that comes up on your calendar and you're not expecting it. You forgot about it because you didn't want to think about it, and suddenly, oh gosh, that's today. And today was the release of Pat McAfee's album. I was gonna say a music album, but I don't know if music is the right word. His album, Diary of a Polarizing Figure, and I did you guys all a favor if you haven't checked it out, and I checked it out for you and to kind of review it and tell you what you think. Disclaimer: I didn't listen to all the songs. Just gonna put that up front. I listened to about maybe 7. I listened to the first couple all the way through. Then after that, it was kind of wearing on me, and I had to start listening to like half the song and then just the first verse and the chorus. And it's not even that like, oh my gosh, it makes my ears bleed. Like some people there's a lot of jokes out there on Twitter and people talk about like how bad it is and how they can't listen to it. It's not like the content of the music is not the absolute worst. It's not ear screeching like, making my ears bleed. It just is so blah. Like after listening to as much as I did, which felt like more than I should have listened to, the best way to describe it is like when you wake up from a nap or you wake up, in the morning and you have that really warm taste in your mouth. It just like, it doesn't taste like anything in particular. It's just warm and gross and you don't know what it is, but you don't like it. And you got to get up and you got to drink some water or something to get that bad taste out of your mouth. That's what this album is. It's like, you just don't really know. Sometimes it might be hard to put your finger on it, but you just don't like it. It's not, admittedly, it's probably not as bad as Tyga's 0 out of 10 album that he did. It was like one of the worst, and it's become a meme, the 0.0 Starface. It probably is not that bad because, admittedly, Tyga has musical history, and like I think the bar was a little higher for him. I don't think anyone has come in expecting Pat McAfee's album to be good, so I'd say his bar is lower, but it's still a pretty lame performance. I'll go ahead and I'll get the good things out of the way. Normally, I like to try to talk about what I don't like anytime I review anything, get the bad stuff out of the way so I can end on the good. The problem is if I did that, you wouldn't be around the video long enough to get to the good stuff, and so I just need to go ahead and get the good stuff out of the way, and then we can talk about all the stuff I didn't like. What did I like about the album? Well, I don't know. We might have to move straight to the stuff I didn't like. I'm just kidding. I will say this. I don't necessarily love anything about the album, but since I can't think of anything, I'll preface this. I don't believe that Pat will ever watch this video because I probably don't have enough of a following. And even if he does watch it, he's definitely not watching all the way through. By some miracle, he sees this. I'll say this. I have never historically been a Pat hater. Even nowadays, I would label myself a Pat hater. Pat McAfee for a while, when I first was kind of discovering him, I remember him being I kind of grew up in the era of these last couple of years in the NFL, being a punter for the Colts and doing even various kicking jobs and stuff like that. And I thought it was kind of not that I paid a lot of attention to the special teams, but I thought it was pretty cool. He definitely had a personality that he liked to make that his own. He took pride in doing something that wasn't flashy or glamorous, and he, his whole for the brand thing and, having some pride in kickers and punters. I didn't mind that. I thought that was kind of neat. I thought it was cool. I appreciated that he, just tried to be himself. And for many, many years, I think that was very charming, and I think he got very popular, and a lot of people really love that. And I think that's awesome. I remember before he even got his own, I think it was before he got like a TV show on ESPN, he had a radio show, and I was listening to that in college. I'd get up, and usually one of my prime time driving moments during the day was always in the middle of his radio show, and so I always turned it on because my car didn't have. I couldn't even play music. I had to listen to the radio. I really liked it, and I thought he did a great job on his stuff. He was the right balance of not listening to these old farts sit around and talk real boring like the analysts, but he did a good job of being entertaining, but also still mixing that in with like his opinion. And yes, sometimes it was a little hot or controversial, but it wasn't unreasonable, wasn't unfathomable for someone to have that opinion. And he did a good job defending it because it felt like it was him and his show, and it was a little more authentic. And then he's had some big deals with ESPN. He's gotten a lot of attention lately, and even when he moved to he started doing some stuff in WWE on NXT with Adam Cole and moving on. Like I thought it was pretty cool, and then he started commentating on SmackDown or on various pay-per-views or PLEs, and I was all for it. I was supporting him for a while, even when other people kind of found it to be a little bit annoying. Even when this all started, probably in the last year or so, I was defending him, and I was, you know what? I think it's not that bad. I think the guy's he just wants to have fun. He just wants to be himself. It's not his fault if ESPN overexposes him, and it's not his fault and all this. But he's made it very difficult the last several months, definitely at least, just with people getting fired, and yet he gets a bigger paycheck. And like I said, I think he's solid. I think he's entertaining, and he should have a show or some kind of platform. But I'm not out there claiming like he's my favorite or he's the best. And I just kind of, ESPN's already really going downhill. Like, it's been pretty lame and pretty underwhelming for quite some time. And now to do all this, it's just like, they're always one of those networks that's like, oh, we don't want to get political. We're here for sports. And then there's political stuff, or, they have political agendas, which I know everyone's always going to have in the background, even if they don't show it on TV. There's always going to be some driving force behind, the decisions and who they hire and how much they pay them and the kind of stuff they put on their TV. But I just don't find it to be very entertaining anymore. It's not entertaining from like a standpoint of sports, like that kind of entertains me throughout the day. It's not entertaining enough in the terms of like I'm learning something. Like maybe I'm learning new scoops or inside sources. I can just, now we have our phones, and I can just check ESPN, look something up. Heck, half the time I can just look up on Twitter or X, something. It's not even really like good debates and good conversations. It's just him and his buddies, and like I don't have a problem with him so much as his buddies. They're just his lackeys, is what it feels like. His lackeys, his drones, and they might be fine guys. I don't really know, but that's just how I feel like they're presented on TV. Is they're just kind of presented to be these just extras in his little, this whole age of Pat McAfee he's really gotten popular on. And I'm sure like he's probably popular with a younger audience, or, the college kids that are just like, they don't care. They're kind of brain rotted a little bit. But that's not the majority of everyone, and that's not everyone that's watching your sport, your TV. And I know he's probably afraid to for a while he was probably afraid to make some old folks mad, the old heads, and I get it. Sometimes it's fun or it's cool to make old heads mad, rage bait or whatever. And one of the big things, going back to the album that I don't have any sympathy for it. I get it, you can't control when people make you mad, and I get that you can't control, if someone is just going to hate you for being you, and that's fine. But he does this whole thing of his whole shtick is something that it's not exclusive to just him, and it annoys me when other people do it. But I feel like it annoys me more when he does it, because I used to support him in the terms of acting a certain way and being yourself, but then doing all these things that are controversial, saying all these things, doing all these things like, whoa, for clicks. And then when people attack you, they're like, hey, I don't really like that. I don't, again, it's not necessarily always going to be your fault, but you at least need to be cognizant of that. Not that you need to go change completely what you do because of person A on the internet, like for me, example, just because me saying, if I was the only one out there saying, oh, man, this sucks. I don't think he's any good, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean he needs to go listen to just my opinion, some random guy on the internet, and go change everything he does. But there should be some level of keeping that in the back of your mind and knowing how people feel about you, and not that you have to be a people pleaser. You absolutely don't have to go out and please everyone. You're not really obligated to please anyone. But if you are trying to build your influence, if you're trying to get more people to watch your stuff, if you want to appear more likable, there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. Um, and it just, a lot of his stuff comes off as very brash, very brazen. Just, I'm gonna say me, I'm gonna do me, and if you don't like it, well then you don't have to watch. And it's just, that's kind of really old. Like that's like a teenage kid mentality. Like dude's like in his 30s or what, like late 30s, early 40s. In one of his songs, he talks about the good die young, or that. And this is one I see people talk about. Like one of the fire lines from the album is "the good die young," and I'm scared because I'm so great, or I'm scared I might be great. The whole being great is up for debate. That's how you feel on him. But I don't think you have to worry about dying young. I mean, you're in your 40s, buddy. Like, I think you'll live a full and healthy life. The route you're headed, I think you'll be fine. There's a couple. One of them, several of them, really. It's hard to tell because, spoiler alert, if you haven't been able to notice, the whole album is just AI slop, and that's another reason why, admittedly, I don't really care for it. I think at the very least, had he went out and like done all the music himself, or at least people he knew, had he just, it had all been him and been user created, human created. At the very least, I could have been like, well, Pat, maybe music's not for you, but hey, you went out and did you did your thing, you had fun with it, and it's a learning experience. You got your feelings out there, you did all this, you weren't cut out for it, or maybe you tried, or maybe I could at least give you a pat on the back for trying your best. But all of that goes out the window when you rely on AI to do everything. Your album cover, AI. The instrumentals, AI. The lyrics sound AI. AI probably enhanced his voice a little bit. And the thing is, it's not even like it has a good voice. It's not atrocious. Like, I feel like AI was really working hard to carry that voice up there. And on all this, when it comes to musical performance and creating music, I'll go ahead and say it, because I know people are going to be, well, you didn't create music. You don't know what you're doing. And who are you to talk? Like, he's already done more than you. You know what it takes. And I'm definitely not a big musician or anyone that's created music. I will say, in the past, I have done music creation on my own. I have in high school and when I was in college, just for the heck of it. I was kind of in that phase of like just wanting to goof around with my friends and make music on SoundCloud and stuff. And yeah, my stuff, I'll be the first to admit, it sucked. It wasn't to be taken seriously. It was very just a lot of parodies, a lot of goofing off and being silly. And I was very afraid to be taken seriously, and I didn't want people to think I was taking myself seriously. So the lyrics were goofy, the songs were goofy, a lot of the choices I made, the topic, everything like that, even the album covers were goofy. But at the end of the day, it was all my stuff. I created all. It was stuff that I done in time I put in to create it. If it looked bad, well, it's something I made that was bad. And at least it had a personality. It had something to it. With Pat's music, it just feels so generic. Like, there is no soul in it. And for an album that he claims is all about him and his diary of a polarizing figure. One of my pet peeves I was starting to mention earlier and I didn't finish on is when people act a certain way or they do certain things that make people mad and they know it and they willingly rage bait people, or they act a certain way just that they know is controversial just to get clicks and views. And then they 180 into, oh my gosh, why is everyone being so mad at me? Why is everyone so upset? What did I do? I'm just trying to live my life. Like, one of the first songs he's talking about is like a Pitbull and Mugshot or something. He's like, why can't we all get along and be fun and have fun together, guys? And why can't we just have a good old time? And then one of them I think I listened to was Oops, and Oops is exactly how I felt accidentally clicking on that song and having to listen to it. It felt like an accident. And it's about like, oh, oops, I made someone mad again. Or, oh, what can you do? And he's talking about how he's got death threats on him and his family. I'm not going to say that's not true. Obviously, I don't know. But I would say, to be fair, I think lots of celebrities, even people that have been much more liked than you, I'm sure people, it's just a thing. Like, people, even if it's scare tactics, get death threats or whatever, they never act on it. But who really hates Pat McAfee that much? Like, are people annoyed of him? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Add me to the club. But I don't know that people, I think they hate hearing his voice. I think they hate seeing him on TV. I think a lot of his stuff is blown out of water. He wants to play the victim card and say, oh, poor me. I'm just trying to live little old me. I'm just trying to live my life. I don't deserve this hate. Oh, shucks. Why do you... Guys, let's be friends. Let's hold hands and kiss on the lips and whatever. And it's so bad. If you listen to one song on his album, you've listened to all of them. That's how similar and how same they are. It's the best way. Because I'm about to hit a Porky Pig stuttering on all this, just trying to put together sentences and talking about this. I guess I should do like Pat McAfee and just rely on AI to form my sentences for me. The best way I can describe it is, if for those familiar with College Game Day, imagine a College Game Day highlight reel in your head, like on a Sunday. I'm imagining Tennessee playing Georgia, like 2:30 on CBS, and right before the game starts. Maybe it's during the game. Maybe it's like a timeout or like halftime coming back for the second half, and they got some highlights from the game. Maybe talking about rivalry, showing some fans, some barbecue. The good old SEC on CBS. Imagine a highlight reel playing and the song playing in the background. Not a specific song, just that genre of song. That's exactly what all of his music sounds like. It sounds like it is just copy paste generic, like he went into ChatGPT or whatever program he used and said, give me some College Game Day music. Like it's like if you screen recorded or downloaded took 100 clips from College Game Day over the past like 10 years, all the songs they have on there. Then you imported them all into the AI bot and said, blend these all together and make me a song that sounds like it would be on College Game Day. Or like what we used to do in high school. I remember it's like if you typed in College Game Day type beat on YouTube. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like any just random generic guy got on and made it. And I think if it were anybody random, I think there would even be a little more merit to it, because it's like, oh, okay, interesting. But because it's Pat McAfee, it's because it's a big figure, and I just don't get it. And again, this goes back to the whole AI thing. The dude has money. The dude just signed a huge deal with ESPN. You can't even pay an artist to make your album cover. You can't pay to get instrumentals. You can't pay to, for someone to maybe even help you write your songs or formulate a little bit. Maybe someone could to perform on the songs with you. Like, I don't know. If someone did do all these things, I'd love to know, because I tried looking on like the song descriptions, because usually that's where they have to put all the like the label info. They got to put like who made the beat, who helped in the creative process, yada yada yada. He's got the lyrics in his song description, and I think that's it, which tells me he probably doesn't want to admit the song is probably heavy AI. And it's just super, super annoying. It's so old. Like, it's just anyone, talentless. I'm running out of things to say without being redundant and just saying the same stuff, talking about AI slop and how it's just, if you listen to one of his songs, you listen to all of them. I guess since I'm ranting, I'll end on what I think is the funniest tweet revolving the album that I've seen all day, about 3/4 of the way through the day. I saw someone make a tweet that said, hey Pat McAfee, just wanted to personally thank you, or so, this is paraphrasing somewhere along the line. Hey Pat, just wanted to thank you. My grandma, who's been in a wheelchair for half her life and hasn't been able to walk, I turned on your album for her, and for the first time in 30 years, she stood up to turn that trash music off. And I'll be honest, I was like slapping the knee, laughing, hooting, and hollering, because it's just bad. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe you're a Pat supporter. Like I said, I don't want to be a Pat hater, even though I did just kind of hate on him for the last like almost 20 minutes. I don't know. Maybe this is it for his music career. Let's hope that for our sake and for his sake.